Osawatomie. It's the city of history and promise. At least that's what the sign says on the way into town. uh, I am looking at the character of Osawatomie, and today we're going to look at the promise. What's going to happen in our future? What do we have to look forward to? And with that being said, we have the new principal. Oh my gosh, of Osawatomie High School. That picture is incredible. I saw your Andy Reid picture, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
That's the one. So when we're locked down, that's what I put up. So when I went off camera, my Andy Reid would be showing.
Now, was that your real mustache, or did you have
Yeah.
to borrow that? You did it,
Oh,
so you're a grow your own kind of guy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
I grow a full beard every year. So I
Yeah.
start probably I had to shave for Halloween this last year. We did dodgeball.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Were you a Viper?
I was,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. I had the
Those
full
bit.
man. I had
Yeah.
the full outfit, everything.
I
Everything.
love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so it's already going around school. So just to get anybody and everybody caught up, you've been hired as the new principal of Osawatomie High School.
Yes.
That became official a couple of weeks ago. We're recording this April 24th. So um it's already been going around that you have a collection, so to speak, of holiday suits.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I don't want to ruin the fun for everybody, but I have been privy to at least the Christmas suit. Now, have you expanded your suit game since I've seen you last?
I have 5 different suits.
It's incredible. It's amazing. Holiday suits, right?
All holiday suits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That I absolutely love that. So that's something that we get to look forward to next year when you get here. To catch everybody up. So I'm assuming 12 people are going to watch this to kind of learn a little bit about who you are. You and I started at JC Harmon. I started I started a semester ahead of you. About was it August of 2015, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So you were at Harmon for 7 years. Um, you taught physical science,
Health science.
health
Health.
science. Yeah. So I thought it was chemistry. I feel like a liar. I feel horrible that I'm spreading these falsehoods about you.
You made
But
me
you
butter.
did you taught that 1 year at Harmon, and then you became the dean of discipline for 6 years, and
Yes.
then became an assistant principal at a middle school.
Two middle schools. Central Middle for 2 years, and then the district moved me to Gloria Willis, where I'm at now.
Okay, and you're finishing up the year at Gloria Willis Middle School.
Yes. Yep.
And you're visiting us once a week until the summer. And
Yes.
yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. And talking to people, because it's kind of like some of the staff knows that you and I work together. The most common question is, what is he like? And so this is what I've been selling people. And so this is what you're going to have to live up to is that you're a former Navyman, right? You were
Yep.
at Navy. Um, and were you ever on a boat?
Yeah. I was USS Carl Vincent.
Oh, wow. For how long?
I was an air wing, so I was actually stationed at NES Miramar when it was still a naval station. It's now a marine base now.
Oh, those guys.
But at the time, it was still Top Gun,
They steal everything.
and my plane was the E2C Hawkeye. So we were the first off the boat, last on the boat. The eyes
Wait,
in the
when you
ear.
say wingman, you were in a fighter jet,
No, 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 no.
or
I direct,
you loaded the bombs?
no,
Okay.
I did all the directing.
Okay. So you wore the purple shirts and you told people where to go.
those were actually I was a turd, what they called a turd shirt. I was a brown shirt.
Oh, you were a brown shirt. So in my mind, I'm thinking you're on an aircraft carrier and they have all the different colored shirts,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the different jobs, right?
yeah,
And also so they don't get ran over. And so I'm imagining that you're okay. So you're in the turd shirt, the
yes.
brown one, and you're directing traffic, telling people where to go, or you're telling them to shut the engines or
Yep, launch
turn them
recovery.
on.
Yep,
Yeah. So a lot of like nonverbal communication skills
yep,
there. Yeah, right on. Really good. All right. So what most people have been asking me, what kind of principal are you going to be? And what I've been telling people is that you're very much by the book, right? So I'm
yeah,
guessing that has to do a lot with your naval background. It's very structured and organized. And so if, the student handbook says this, we're going to follow this.
yep,
Review every year. So at the end of the year, if we don't like a particular policy or something's not working, we're going to do what we can to make those adjustments or whatever it is. And I've also been telling people that the way you make decisions is based on what's going to be best for students.
yes.
And you're going to put student learning and student development ahead of everything else. If it's not going to be good for our students, then we probably shouldn't be doing it. And this is what I've been telling people. Now, I need to know that I'm not lying. So
No,
what would you say is your, I guess, style philosophy as a principal walking in? What are you thinking as far as that goes?
I like to have fun by nature, but we are structured by guidelines. That's just the nature of the world we live in. So I do follow the handbook, but it's always up for if it's something that isn't working and we've done it. And I hate the word fidelity,
Mm,
but we do stuff with fidelity.
okay.
And we've got to put in our best effort and try it. And if it doesn't work, then we need to look at it and revamp it, twist it, scrap it, whatever we need to do. But that's going to take all of our voices and kind of make those changes happen. But yeah, I my wife says I'm firm but fair.
I like that.
Um,
Those are two good F words. Four-letter F words, I guess, now that I think about it.
um, but I kids know that they can come to me when they're upset, but they also know that I'm going to hold them to the standard.
That's good. What about with the teachers? Are you going to hold teachers to a standard?
Yeah, we're professionals, and I actually got back into teaching. So in 2012, I just met my wife. Now we were dating. I saw her 48 hours a week, and we were talking about moving. And I had a chance to kind of jump ship on education. I jumped over to Kroger,
Mm.
a corporate recruiter or a corporate trainer, and then in 6 months I was applied and became a corporate recruiter, and I oversaw the hiring and kind of grooming in-store managers and things like that.
Yeah, we don't like to use the word grooming in the grocery industry.
Or yeah, prepping, getting people for store level management, and
Just kidding.
and I we have to take care of I have to take care of you because it's far too expensive. If we're looking at it money wise, it's far too expensive to hire someone in and then just dispose of them
Mhm.
if we're just going to get rid of them. So it's in my best interest to take care of you guys because I can't do my job without my teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'm excited because, I get the feeling, and it's kind of an analogy that I got from you. When we were talking 2 or 3 months ago, this is before the interview process or anything, you're talking about how some of your colleagues, your wife, and some of the people that you've been, talking about your career with, were saying that you need kind of a kick in the butt, a
yeah,
little push to go forward. And the analogy that I got was that came to my mind was, you're like a rhythm guy in a band, and but your tool set is perfect to be the lead guitar, to be the lead singer, to be the face of the band and take that next lead. And, I'm so excited that I get to be a part of that process of you taking over the building leadership role, and just to kind of see your growth as a person, through that. So with that, my next question to you is, how important is it to have a growth mindset for you personally? Like, as Dr. Birnell, when you think about yourself, how important is it that you have a growth mindset?
Oh, you have to be open. Everything's changing. And then the one problem that with education is we can't keep up with the change. We're probably the slowest to change.
Mm,
So much technology. Fortunately, I'm very techie.
good.
Uh, the two middle schools I've been in, they were like, "Oh my God, it's nice to have a principal that actually knows technology." Um, so it is our we have to utilize it. Our kids are embedded in it.
Yeah.
We have to teach them how to use it properly. That's a huge thing. There's if you've ever watched anything on Gen Z or Gen Alpha, they coin them as the true digital natives. They've no life. They
Wow.
don't know life without technology. Um,
That's an interesting term, digital native.
yeah, yeah, that's what they're called, digital
And
natives.
it's kind of an interesting thing, watching my son, who's 8 years old, know how to navigate technology better than me, which I am furious about. I heard your dog barking. Are you a big dog guy or a cat guy?
I'm a I'm an animal guy, but I'm largely dogs. We rescue deaf dogs.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
cool.
I drove to Georgia to pick up. It's a deaf Dogo Argentino. It's part of like the Mastiff mix,
Oh, wow. Yeah. So they're huge.
and they're bred to hunt pumas and wild boar.
That's oddly specific. Like, that's like incredibly specific. That's amazing. So, do you have like a fake puma running around in the backyard to kind of keep them entertained or something?
No, I got squirrels all over my backyard, and once in a
Nah,
while,
it's a smaller version of a puma,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you spray paint the squirrels to look like pumas so it feels more natural for your
No,
baby?
I think she just likes anything that moves.
Oh,
So,
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
and if you look at her, she's hiding right. Oops, hiding right there.
Yeah, Dad, what are you doing, Dad? Dad. Oh, she's really interested in what you're doing.
Yeah, when she wants me, and she doesn't like that we have part of the house blocked off, so we keep it. We call it the fur-free zone.
Oh yeah. What does she
So,
shed? Does she shed big time?
oh, they're huge shedders.
Yeah, that happens. Another common question I get from the coworkers is, do you think Dr. Burnell is going to move here? And my initial reaction to that is that, from our conversations, my initial reaction is that no, not immediately. You're not. There's no like immediate plan to move out here and make this your home. You want to spend some time getting yourself acclimated to the community. Your wife probably isn't really big on dramatic change, like that right off the bat. So, moving here is not something that's immediate. I know you love your home that you're in. You have the perfect house for you and your wife and your dogs. And I explained, like, it's a 40-minute commute, so it's not like something that's too terribly difficult. Have you ever had to commute before?
Oh yeah, this is my when I moved to KCK is the first time I didn't have to commute.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's your longest commute?
2 hours and 15 minutes
Each way or just total?
each way.
Now, why on Okay, so I'm the math teacher, right? So 2 hours and 15 minutes is roughly 135 miles away. Why are you taking a job 135 miles away?
Well, I was living with one of my buddies in Chandler, Arizona. The job that I took was in Sells, Arizona.
Okay.
Um, and it was on the Tohono O'odham reservation.
That's
And
right.
so Tucson or I lived in Phoenix. Well, that's when I just met my wife. And so I would stay there a couple days a week. So I drive down. The school district had their own housing for teachers,
That's cool.
so it
Never
was
heard of
cheap.
that.
I think I spent like $200 a month, and then I paid utilities.
Nice.
And so I would go up, leave on Fridays, spend the weekend up in Chandler, and then I would come back Monday morning. I'd get up at like 4 in the morning to be at the school on
Hmm.
time. And then I would stay Monday, Tuesday, and then I would travel back on Wednesdays and get back up at 4 in the morning to go back for Friday.
That is a lot. That's a lot. Well, it's good to know that you're not afraid of a little bit of driving. And it's
No,
also good to know that you know, that you're not making irrational life choices on the fly.
yeah, yeah.
Right. That's
I
always really nice.
I actually miss the drive because it gives me time to kind of clear my head before I get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did a commute from Osawatomie to JC Harmon, right?
Yeah.
That was a 55-minute commute for me. And the thing that I hated was getting 45 minutes down the road and knowing that my laptop was at home.
Oh, yeah.
That was always a struggle. It only happened twice. But I did enjoy the drive home. I had an hour. I got to catch up on sports talk radio or calling my mom and having that relationship with my mom or whoever I was going to talk to on the way home that day, whatever family member got to hear me. So that was always kind of nice. So I do understand that the idea of a commute being a nice way to decompress. And that way you're not taking work home, right? So
Right.
first day
Yeah.
you walk in the door, you're not like, I can't believe what happened, or dumping on your wife like that. You can come home and, be the family man you need to be. So
Yeah.
I
Call all my
appreciate that.
kids, call friends. But as far as moving there, actually moved back from Arizona to help her family because they're elderly parents. She's got a great grandmother that we run over all the time to
You
fix
run
stuff.
over her grandma?
All the time. No,
Wait,
run over.
so your wife still has a great grandmother?
Yeah, yeah.
What is she, like 110 or something?
92.
Wow. I think that's incredible. Anybody over the age of 85, I mean, you're just cherry on top, right? I mean, you're just doing
Yeah.
great.
She's
85 is a victory to me.
she still lives on her own, still independent, but she gets a little confused on last time she thought she broke her TV and I had to run over and look at it and kind of show her the input button on the remote
Yeah.
and get her
That can get
squared back.
tricky. That can get tricky. I mean, she's used to dialing up on the
Yeah.
radio. I mean, she was around whenever Technicolor came out. So that's impressive. That's real impressive. Some other questions that I get from staff. Now there's a specific question from um the from people that are more in tune to the arts. What is your take on like the musical, choir, band, art classes, so the fine arts, so to speak? Where does that land on your radar?
Me, that's a special place in my heart. I was a band nerd
Oh yeah,
going through. Yeah, I started um
on the what now?
trombone.
Trombone. Okay, I get all right. Yeah,
Uh, and in high school I played with the Billings Symphony with test music. They invited us in.
that's
Um,
Billings, Montana, for those keeping score. Yeah,
um, and so it helped keep me in school actually. And I used to draw a lot. Now I don't. I'm kind of lame, but no, that stuff keeps a lot of kids invested.
yeah.
And I it's just as important as everything else that we do in the building.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm trying to think about any other questions. Um, Now there's been a lot of turnover at the principal position here. I don't want to give any stats away, but we're looking at 5 in 5 years. I think it's something like that, or five and
Yeah.
6 years. It I will say that it can really wear on the patience of veteran teachers, because there's a lot that you don't enjoy when you don't know what to expect. Um, People are going to be weary, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And the thing I say, I used to say this to my wife when we were first dating, how do I know you're going to be around? I said, you won't know until 15 years down the road and I'm still here. And a lot of it is we won't know until 3 years down the road and you're
Yeah.
still here. Right. But what are your intentions, I guess, as far as this position?
I'm looking for a home. I don't like to move around. I like to build things, and I know that I've got to build trust. Um, we moved in a couple of schools here. You hear kids all the time, they just leave us, they just leave us. And
Yeah.
so I know it's going to take, and I'm gonna have to show them, and I'm gonna have to put in the legwork. When I was interviewed by the students, one of the questions is how long do you plan on being here? And I said, well, I plan on retiring here. And so that's a minimum of 11 years.
Right.
Um, so I don't like to move. If I'm moving, it's time, or it's ran its course, and it's the next step kind of thing. And that's how I ended up talking to you. And I really wasn't. I was like, AP. I was kind of comfortable in the role and all that, and then just talking with you, and then talking with Mr. Clark, I was like, oh man, I'm jazzed. I'm super stoked. And spending time in the buildings, I've kind of teased one of the kids. One of the kids walked by and he had like some weights, and I said, hey, I think you need to go a little wider or lighter.
Mhm.
And he looked at me, and then they came back, and one of the other students goes, hey, where are you from? And I said, well, my parents originally. And he goes, oh, okay, okay.
Right.
So then we talked about the athletic program a little bit,
Sure.
and said that we need to start getting into the middle schools and elementaries and doing little camps and
Hmm.
start building that way.
One thing talking with the football coach and having that relationship there, I see this building as just a big old pile of clay waiting to be molded, right? We have all the ingredients, we have what we need, at least in my opinion. Now, I'm sure there's other people who have different opinions, but in my opinion, I think we have what we need, right? We have compliance for the most part from our students. I know our kids want to do their best. They need leadership in the classroom in order to get to that point, which is something that I've been really trying to focus on and for myself and my craft. Um, and so I just get this feeling that there's this like this it's something that needs to be molded and mended, and you are now in charge of molding this building. And I'm excited to see what you can come up with, because I know that you have a wealth of experience in all sorts of scenarios that can only benefit you here. So I don't know that there's a question to that other than to tell you that I think you're going to find that this place obviously is going to require work, but I think that you're going to find that it's going to be something that you get excited about as you progress through. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to trying whenever you first get, like, I guess not first get, like, what are some of the things that you've been milling over in your mind? Like, I can't wait to get started with this, or I'm excited to try this. So what are some of those things that you're excited to sink your teeth into?
Well, one of the first thing I'm very careful is, because of the turnover, I'm not there to just go change everything. I'm there to see where we are, how we're doing, what we can improve on, and then we can kind of take it. Because in my visits and talking with everybody, it truly feels like all the elements are there,
Mm.
and we've just got to get them aligned and get things in place and processes set up and get some routines so everybody is comfortable and familiar and get going. um I'm excited to be there to just the one time, I'll give you my cafeteria experience when I was there.
Yeah.
They said, you can sit down. And I'm like, man, this lunch is this duty is easy. And they said, well, the third lunch is that's the loud lunch. And I said, okay. So I was sitting there and I was watching, and I watched one of the students who I'd met previously throw something at the table that he was sitting at, that we asked him to sit down. And so I was like, I'm gonna wait. Let's see what happens. And all of a sudden I see something fly back, and I whistle in the
Yeah.
cafeteria in dead silence. And I said, stop throwing stuff, pick it up. And everybody just like screeching halt looked at me like,
Who
what?
is this guy?
Like, I saw you throw first, pick it up. We're not asking you to do anything you didn't do. So just pick it up and we're all good.
Right.
And they picked it up. They didn't fight with us. They picked it up and went on to class. And so I'm there to engage. I'm there to engage with students. I'm there to hold them accountable. Their success is our success. If they
Yeah.
fail,
Yeah. Yeah, so when I first started teaching, I had to separate my self-worth from the opinions of 14-year-olds.
yes,
Because that's really difficult, right? When you have a group of freshmen that look at you like they hate your guts. I had to just come to the conclusion that their opinion is not who I am as a person. And I can value myself without regard of the opinions of 14-year-olds. Yes, I'm there to build relationships, but quality working relationships with a teacher and a student is one where the student finds growth.
right.
And so that's it taken me a while to get used to. And it's also really difficult to not put my self-value in the performance of a 14-year-old. You know, if a student fails my class, um, I think I have to go through and walk through and remind myself, did I give them enough excuses to pass? Did I give them enough excuses to succeed? Did I give them enough opportunities to succeed? And as long as I can say yes to all of the above, then I feel okay with it. But it's like, but you never really feel okay with a kid failing, right? And so when you say their success is our success and their failure is our failure, um, I kind of agree, but I also kind of disagree because
Well,
like
well,
not passing my class is not that's a failure, but I also can't wear that, right? Because not everybody's
right.
going to pass a math class. It's just inevitable some kid's going to fail. So knowing that I'm going to fail in those regards is tough.
But it's also that giving them the skills that later on they're going to get it, because we're going to have students that they're not going to get it right now, and they're going to come back later, and they may have to go through an alternative program. They may have to, whatever, find success that way, but they're going to come back and they're going to say, I see what you were trying to do. I've had
Right.
several that when I first started teaching, I was on them, and they didn't like me. And they came back after they got out of high school, and we said, we get what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there's that immediate success that we see in the classroom as far as like grades and all the accolades that our students do. But there is that the beyond,
Yeah. The big
that's
picture. Yeah, I get it. That makes way more sense, and I appreciate you clarifying. Um, what I guess are you not looking forward to becoming the principal here? Like what is something that you're maybe apprehensive about?
um
Maybe not necessarily OHS specific or Osawatomie specific. Maybe it's something that's like job specific. I don't know. But, whenever you embark upon something new, there's usually some apprehension.
probably my biggest apprehension was in KCK, if you become a principal, you get 1 week off in the summer. You
No,
lose
no.
you lose your vacation. So I was up until last week. I was like, all right, because we spend June. We set up a fifth wheel at Stockton Lake June 1st, and then we actually kept it up last year through August.
Oh, wow.
Travel down on the weekends and just stayed at the lake and go out and boat and paddleboard and kayak and that stuff. So I was like preparing myself and preparing my wife, and like, this is the last summer we're gonna get to do it. Let's enjoy this. And then I found out that my actual schedule is I go till like the 14th, I think, or something like that in June, and then I don't come back till August 1st. And so probably my biggest would be losing some of that summertime,
Sure.
but I've actually gained it back. Um, Now there'll be some training sprinkled in this summer that I have to do coming into the role. But no, I'm all around excited. Like, I am jazzed. I think people at my current school have seen a much bigger pep in my step.
Sure. Yeah.
And oh, you're leaving. I'm like, well, I am. Yeah, but then they're like, we're sad, but we're happy too. Congratulations, kind of thing.
Right. Right. And that speaks volumes because um all of our coworkers from Harmon, that we worked with, every single one of them, said uh how lucky we are that you are the new principal here. I haven't had a single person raise any question about you coming here. And a lot of it's expletive laced, right? You're so
Yeah.
bleeping lucky. That's the most common thing that I've heard in the last couple of weeks. Like I call up somebody I haven't talked to in a couple of years and be like, "Hey, guess what?
And
Burnell's
it's
my principal. You're so effing lucky, dude. You're gonna have a great time." And yeah, I love that. You said it earlier. You're laid back and you want to have fun by nature, and I love that because that's obviously me. But then you're also you are task oriented, you're objective oriented, and I love that is that I get to have that again. But it's also good for me to grow in those ways, right?
right.
Like I know my weaknesses, and my hope is over the next X number of years, um, with your mentorship, you can help me get through some of those weaknesses that I have. So that I'm looking forward to, right? I'm looking forward to growing and becoming a better teacher for our kids.
And that's what I'm really looking forward to. Is I've been able to be an instructional leader to a degree, but we have had discipline in KCK, and so I don't get to do it as much as I want. I ask a lot of questions. I try to push thinking. Um, I've always been a teacher that has tried to learn new stuff and keep things current. Like, I found great activities, but I never kept my same lesson because I always wanted to redo my lessons um, to the current students and to the current information that's out there. Because I wanted, as a health teacher, I wanted to make them informed decision makers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want our kids in all classes, if you don't know the answer, to know how to go find it and look it up
Mm-hmm.
and make sound choices and better decisions. So I like going in there. I'm trusting everybody there to be the content experts and know the standards. And so I'm going to kind of push on that a little bit. And I'm going to push on things that we can try to do. And I'm hoping that I can build enough trust that teachers will go try new things. And if
Mm-hmm.
it fails epically, then we go back to the drawing board and we try something else.
I think if it fails epically, that's a win.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and in math class, it's really hard, especially for these young sophomores and juniors to fail, make mistakes, and
Yeah.
not wear it, right? When we fail and make mistakes, if we are expert learners, mistakes are celebrated. if we are expert learners, mistakes are a great thing. And that's a tough lesson to teach these guys. So as part of building that trust and as part of, trying, hopefully there are teachers that can sit down with you, take an idea, make it their own, and
Yeah.
then try. And secretly, I hope it fails because they can learn from it and do it better again the next time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I tell my students when teaching them stuff, I'm like, everybody fails. I said, if we didn't try things and fail, we'd still be rolling around on the ground.
yes.
And I would talk about their little brothers, little sisters, and I said when they first started walking, they learned to stand up. They'd
Yeah.
fall down, but I said they still did it. But if we were afraid of failure, we would still be rolling around on the ground. We wouldn't be
Yeah.
walking today.
That would be a really horrible existence. 8 billion people just
Rolling around and worming around on the ground. Yeah.
no, that's really funny. No, I like that. That's really good. That's really good. All right. So part of the learning process that I think is an underrated part of the learning process is reflection. Um, I want you to take a moment and think about this, but I do a reflection log. Well, I haven't been doing it this semester, but in the past, on Fridays, I have my kids go through and I ask them for a rose, a thorn, and a seed. So the rose is the best thing, thorn being the worst thing, and the seed is something that they've learned. And I ask them for the last week, over the last week, what's your rose, seed, and thorn? What's the best thing? What's the worst thing? And what's something that you've learned? So I want to do that exercise with you now. And I want to ask, what is your rose, what is your thorn, and what is your seed when it comes to working as an in KCK over the last 10 years in education here in Kansas City? What's your rose, what's your thorn, and what's your seed?
Man, my rose, even my most problematic student, my students are the roses. Because I can get our our hardest child, our hardest student to do right at least for a little bit. Um, my thorn is when we force teachers to fit into a box or a mold.
Mm,
That drives me crazy. Example that I can give you is my wife worked in a top 10 nationally ranked elementary school,
wow.
United States. Wealth of background on setting up to like lessons and activities for Common Core for all subjects. And when they came here, they're so stringent on pacing guides that you have to follow the pacing guide. And I'm like, but if we're trying to create mastery, we're not going to be able to follow the pacing guide because the pacing guide doesn't line up with how students learn.
Right.
It's a great guide for us to follow, but we have to be really good readers and check in our understanding of our students to adjust our instruction to help them really grab it.
Yeah, that's why, yeah, that's the human element you cannot replace. A teacher knows their students really well. A good teacher knows their students really well. A good
And,
teacher is able to recognize the group quickly, and yeah, that's a skill that is very difficult to come across, and it can't be replaced. There's no online learning that can help a kid get through a difficult situation or whatever it may be. Yeah.
and then and
What's
I
your
guess
seed?
my seed would be Osawatomie is my seed because I've been kind of planted and rooted, and now I get to. I've always relied on like I've got plausible deniability. It's all the principle. It's all the principle, and then they come and tell me stuff. Then I'd be like, is that maybe we have you thought of this? And now it's me.
Yeah.
It comes to me. It's how can I nurture and inspire everybody to really make things grow
Mm-hmm.
high in the high school and from just being there the little bit it's wanted. I can feel it. I can feel the energy. It's positive. It just I'm I am ready to go in and work with everybody and try to just make this place blow up.
I'm excited, dude. I am jazzed. I can tell you I will run through a wall for you. So I'm excited to see what you have for us. It's gonna be cool, dude. It for me as a personal experience, this is gonna be cool. Um, one thing that I want to leave you with is that this place is community oriented. Our community really kind of just weaves in and out of this high school. A
Right.
lot of things in our community revolve around the high school. Um, and you know, uh, caring about what happens in this community is of a high importance. You're not coming to this building and leaving the building. You're coming to our community and you're going to be
Yeah.
working in our community. So that's one of those things that I just wanted you to keep rattling around in the back of your mind is that you know, the when you adopt this as your community and we adopt you as part of our own, I think that's when the real magic's going to happen. And I'm
Yeah.
excited because I know you. I'm excited because I know where your heart is, and I know your passions, and I know your work ethic, and I'm just really excited to see what you can mold out of the clay that we have here. Do you have any questions for me? Do you have
Um,
any concerns, any thoughts, anything that you just like you want to get out, or you just anything you
no,
wanted to share?
I'm kind of ready just for summer to be over so I can get um but I'm kind of a workaholic
Sure.
anyway. And so like the best part of my week is now coming down there and getting to just really observe and kind of see everything and get people used to kind of seeing my face um and I think that I've displayed quite a bit last time I was there, a lot of positive feedback, dealing with a student issue and that type of communication and just I'm hoping to make sure that I'm the positive one of the positive forces that when people see me going, oh yeah. But also, quick story, I went on a field trip to the Capitol yesterday,
Okay.
and one of my teachers, so we came back at 2 o'clock, we get out at 2:55. And so I'm like, I need to go down to my village, my seventh grade area. And one of the teachers told me after school, and he goes, best student comment that I've heard in a long time. He goes, one of my students opened up the door, looked out, saw you standing there, and turned around and goes, where the F did Birnell come from?
Yeah, so
Because
he
what,
thought twice and went back to do
yeah,
what he's supposed to do.
because they know I'm going to say the same stuff. They know it's my expectation doesn't change. It's the same expectation at the beginning of the year. I expect you in your rooms. I expect you learning. I expect your cell phones put away, following directions of the adults. It's the same thing at the end of the year.
Awesome. Awesome, dude. Well, I for one can't I just am excited. I want to welcome you. I'm interested to see what other people's interactions are with you. I'm excited to see the relationships that you build in this community. I'm excited to see you to grow those roots here, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And you know, of course, as always, if you absolutely need anything, I'm always here. But I think you're going to find that there's going to be a wealth of people that are here to help make this transition as smooth as possible and help you guide us through this next year, man. It's going to be good.
And I'm ready to, like I said, I'm excited. And my deep dark secret, not so secret because I've kind of told my wife already, that eventually I'm trying to get her teaching there.
Ooh, okay. So you guys can commute together,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. and
Yeah.
and then I've also told her that she'll be going on weekend events, and so if there's
Yeah.
something down, we'll be going down. We're going to be part of it.
Yeah. Bring her to the games.
Yep.
Have her come out to the games and enjoy it. And you know, make sure she knows and understands that, you know, if the weather's a little too much, I have a couch for you to sleep on.
We also have family friend. His mother lives down there.
Hey, great. Yeah, there you go.
We
Perfect.
just did some sand volleyball this weekend, and he goes, "Yeah, my mom lives down there," and I'm like, "Ah."
Excellent. Yeah, so you got options. Yeah. Well, after you realize that my house is too small for you to crash it, but you still want to be around 7, 8 year old or 4 year old and an 8 year old. I don't blame
Oh,
you.
kids, so it's all good. Mine are all grown up. My youngest turned 23 today.
Good gravy. What, did you have kids when you were 10?
Oh no, no, I'm
You don't
old.
look a day over 35.
I'm an old dude. 53 tomorrow.
Wow, look at you, man. And yeah, well, you're doing it, man. Congratulations. You look great. All right, man. That's all I have for you, dude. You did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow at the track meet.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I gotta like, do I wear jeans? Will I get away with wearing jeans? Because I'm
Yeah.
going to track meet. That's my excuse.
Yeah. You know what? I can get you a track shirt. I'll have a track shirt for you. So you can wear an Osawatomie track shirt. So whenever we see all of our Harmon friends, you'll already be integrated.
Oh, I was already planning on finding something.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Don't worry.
So that
Yeah.
way, it's that
Let
way
me,
because I got to represent.
yeah, I know a guy that knows another guy that can get us a shirt. We're gonna be in good shape.
Sweet,
All right,
sweet.
dude.
All
All
right,
right,
have
talk to you later. All right, love you too.
a